Welcome to Fortune Cookies Tarot, and thanks for coming back if you're a repeat offender, and welcome if you are a brand new viewer. So we're going to take a little bit of a deep dive into Elon Musk and this whole Twitter thing. So those of you that have been following me for some time know that my jury was out on Elon Musk. I wasn't super enthused by him. I thought he was a little bit of a mad scientist, not in a good way. Then when he started dating Amber Heard, I was like, oh, I really don't like him. And then when they broke up and he did a few moves, I was like, all right, maybe. I think he's really smart. And then when he started dating Grimes, I was like, oh, I kind of really like this. This is kind of a good thing, like I thought it was kind of neat. Then he did the whole Twitter thing, and then he had two babies with another gal, kind of like overlapping when Grimes had their second baby. I still have like a really big question mark over my head on how I feel about Elon Musk. I think he is completely fascinating. Completely fascinating goes a long way with me. So, what we're going to take a look at is this whole Twitter thing. So I am not really proficient at Twitter. I have a Twitter account, but not super proficient at it. I don't sit around and try and figure it out all day long. I know there's a lot of, I don't want to say crazy people, but there's a lot of people that have very strong opinions on Twitter. And I've had my encounters with people that are overly opinionated or overly inflexible, and I just want to kind of stay out of the fray. That being said, I follow a lot of people on YouTube and other platforms that are on Twitter, and it's very curious to watch what they're doing on there. So, do I want to be on Twitter? I don't know. Do I need another social media platform? You guys tell me in the comments. So, long story short, he wanted to buy Twitter for 44 billion, and they had worked out a deal, and then there was some discussion about bots and about legitimate accounts that were on the platform, and he kind of backed out of it. There's some speculation that he had some trouble getting funding for it for the rest of the money that he would have to come up with, and so he was grasping at straws to try and find an out for the purchase. But now they took him to court. Twitter took Elon Musk to court to force his hand. And now he's like, okay, well, yeah, I guess maybe I will buy it. What is going on with this? It's crazy. It's like all over the place. So let's take a look. I want to take a look first at what his motivations are for purchasing it. I did read something very interesting about him making a comment that the purchase of Twitter is an accelerant to creating product X, which would be the everything app, which is kind of neat. That's absolutely, going right for Meta and Facebook and all that. So let's take a look at what's going on. So I hope you're having a great day. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thanks everybody for being here. My regular viewers, you guys know this is my favorite part of the day. So I'm glad to have you all on board while I'm doing this. So first things first, let's see what Musk's motivation for even the idea of Twitter, of purchasing Twitter. Let's see what the motivation was there. We're getting a lot of sloppy shuffles today. Those of you that are new, this is home of the sloppy shuffle. I am a sloppy shuffler. It was almost the name of my channel. Probably should have been. If at some point I do rebrand, I will do Sloppy Shuffle Tarot. But I do not have the wherewithal to totally rebrand at this point. So what was his motivation? So this has been a pretty rocky road for him. So I do like what I'm seeing here. We have, this is our energy above, and then underlying energy stagnation. So he has an idea about revolutionizing. And to be sure, this is somebody who has revolutionized other things in our collective world. This is about revolutionizing this particular industry. He's got some very sound ideas, but I hate to say the infrastructure is not there, but the infrastructure is not there. The combination of things that he wants to do with Twitter and other platforms, I'm going to say it right now, other platforms. It's just not there. Like, it's an integrated app that you would be able to locate someone and their car and start their car at a distance. It's a very Star Trekian kind of vibe that I have here. Right down to like the Earl Grey hot. Just kind of declaring this is what I want. It manifests in front of you. It's a pretty cool idea. But there is a component of spirituality and spiritual responsibility in here. So that's kind of the holdup. And I wonder if the chip implant that they were I don't want to say experimenting, that they were testing on that pig, if this has something to do with it, if like now your thoughts could be actually broadcast to a platform, which is so cool. I hazard to say it would put some of us psychics out of business, but it does feel like that your communication, your inner thoughts would be projected, that you could actually project your inner thoughts. And I digress here because I'm thinking, I know a few people that have language aphasia. I actually had it after a head injury, and that's a very curious thing, because my particular language aphasia that I had, I could actually see the word that I couldn't say in my head. I could spell it. I could spell it out loud to someone, but I couldn't say the word. It was a very frustrating and unique manifestation of that from a head injury. But one of the things I learned when I had my head injury that was that neurologists really don't know how the brain works. That was a big shocker, because when they said that I had the injury, I said, well, oh, okay, so we go in, we fix it, what do we do? And they were like, yeah, we really don't know how it works. So yeah, there's some component of like think and spell. Remember the speak and spells when we were kids? This is more of like a think and spell. So really a revolutionary and scary idea for some people that are into tech. Some people are just thinking, yeah, this is getting into abolishing like a free will kind of thing. But that's not his goal. His goal is to make it easier for people to communicate on a faster. This is like a high-speed train to communication. And part of this is eliminating international conflicts, those kinds of things. Like there's definitely a use in diplomacy for this kind of work, this kind of product, this kind of technology and development. It would be celebrated to some extent. There are going to be powers that be that do not like this idea. So this is really the genesis of his idea. We're at a hard stop right now. Again, there's just not the technology there. We just don't have the infrastructure and the ability to implement this kind of thing. We don't have the asses in the seats again. There's just not a lot of people that are going to be lining up to have this kind of product implanted in them, utilized by their phone, utilized by their other apps, their other products that they're using. It's just not something that I think most people will see it very restricting and very losing a lot of their autonomy and privacy. But the truth is that this isn't. This actually would make people more responsible for their autonomous thoughts and their autonomous actions. Imagine this: if we all had, and I'm not saying, you guys can sound off in the comments about this, I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing, but if we had a chip, would we have problems with people that unalive other people, planned or otherwise, or people that do that on a regular basis? Sounds like something with breakfast cereal. So, there could be something very curious. And there's other people, that maybe are guilty of crimes with the littlest of us all. There would be a way to have some kind of, and I hate to say overlord, but there'd be some kind of overlord kind of situation where we'd be able to see those things popping up on a screen. We'd be able to see the car that they were in. We'd be able to see how fast they were traveling, their heart rate, their blood pressure. It's pretty cool. This is really, really 100-year forward thinking. It's really, I question whether he is of this earth. I really do. So, but right now it is a hard stop. There's too many other things that are going on. I think maybe we'll dig a little more on this. Maybe that's why he had the hesitancy, because this is a piece of his puzzle that he's not going to be able to implement just yet. He still likes this idea. It's not that he is abandoning it. It's not that he's doing anything different, but we're at this hard stop. There are other things that need to happen before he continues on down this road. So very, very curious about that. Neat stuff. I don't know. Tell me in the comments. How would you feel about having a chip in your brain that started your car and turned your oven off if you forgot it? I don't know how I would feel about it. If I thought like, hey, I want to have chili for dinner, and like my refrigerator started like prepping it and like sending it over to my Instapot, like, I don't know, I think it'd be kind of cool. But I also think it'd be really cool to have Rosie from the Jetsons at my house. So the refusal to agree to Twitter on the original deal, the slow walk back of the original offer of 44 billion, was that really due to the bot situation, the profile situation? Was it really due to that? Did he really question the legitimacy of the users that are on the platform, or was it an excuse? He wanted the secrets out. He knows what those real numbers are. He's had his independent research done on this. I think he's done some testing too on his own as a consumer, not as Elon Musk, the purchaser of Twitter. I think he's had his own people doing their own research and testing a few things out. This is where he steps in with this incredible brain and just kind of says, hey, let's have a bank of people doing this on Twitter and see what happens. So I think they're getting a lot of the same canned responses to comments and to carefully formulated tweets. So I think that that's very interesting. And he's got a lot of people on board with him uncovering these secrets. And I think he may divulge those. He kind of understands the perspective of Twitter doing that, of having some kind of moderation by bot, I guess you would say, to keep the conversation going. It's almost like when you have a dinner party and you invite that good combination, that alchemy of guests, where you've got an engineer. I'm going to describe our friends. So you've got like a ghost hunter, a psychic, and an engineer at the table, and you can all kind of have a conversation about the engineer can comment about the ghost hunting equipment. The psychic can fire off, strictly on an ethereal kind of psychic perspective, and the ghost hunter is kind of in between scientist and psychic. So, it's a good combination of people to have in the room. So, and I do have friends that are engineers and ghost hunters, so it's very interesting. So I think that Elon understands that Twitter needed to have some of this platform engineered and working on a bot from working with bots so that they can keep the conversation going, so those algorithms can keep moving. I think that was really important. And he understands that that is part of the machinery, but where it goes into the actual manipulation of that information, I think that's where he had a hard stop. So let's see. Yes, he thought the manipulation of the information, and this is all stuff that we know. Manipulating the emotions, the intent, the results of others was really not a good thing. He understands that there's some manner of mechanical input that has to be done, just because it's that kind of a thing. I'm not an IT person. I've never, I barely built my website. So you guys can go look at it. It's not great. I do have to work on it, but he understands that. But he thought that the social injustice of having these mechanical elements influencing others' decision making. He didn't like that. He gets it that they could be there to keep the ball rolling, but he doesn't like that they were influencing. So, how's Twitter feeling right now about the sale? Do they just want him to make the sale? Just close the sale, buy it, take it off our hands? And if so, why?
Sorry, I don't know that.
That was Alexa. So how are they feeling right now? So they're feeling pretty confident about the sale going through. They're pretty sure that it's going to happen. The concern here is covering tracks and making sure that certain doors that were supposed to be closed are closed. So there's a lot of work that has been done between the original offer and I guess April, that they're just trying to get their ducks in a row, which is interesting. I think the sale is going to go through. So this looks like they're really pushing for it, and this is a good deal for them. And the Twitter people really do want to unload it. I know that one dude is gone. I can't remember who the guy is who's running it now, but they do want to come out of the driver's seat on this. Now, why? Why are they so anxious? They are working on something else. There is something else, and they're actually there's going to be a competitive product, a competitive platform. So this is not the last of, we're going to see some incarnation of Twitter in another another fashion. There's going to be something else going on. I think it's very curious that Elon Musk said he's going to work on Project X, which is going to be the everything app. And it looks like they've got something up their sleeve too to work on for the future, so that this isn't like they're getting out of business. They're not getting out of business at all. And they do want that so that they have a home for their people that are on there right now. They're active, intense users. So let's talk about what is the Everything app. What's the deal with the Everything app versus the incarnation of what Twitter wants to do? See if they're the same, if they're different. We'll do the Twitter 2.0, the Elon Musk branded Twitter on the top. Let's call it the Everything app, because I don't think it's going to be Twitter at all. I think it's going to be much more. Everything app versus the next step for the Twitter folks. Let's say the Everything app versus Twitter Plan B. So the Everything app looks like the time is not ripe for this. It's just not, we're just not ready. But in terms of what it's offering, it's much more than this Twitter Plan B. Twitter Plan B is going to struggle to get on the ground. It's going to struggle to develop. It's going to struggle to compete because, let's face it, people like McDonald's. They don't want to go to a McDonald's like place. They want to go to McDonald's. Twitter is now at that, not at that level, but they are at a level where, people recognize the bird. It's brand recognition. It's easy. Nobody wants another login. No one wants another login. I don't. No one wants another login. I want to do everything with my fingerprint. So I don't think that they are competing products. I don't think that this Everything app is ready to go. It's not ready to launch. We're not going to see this in the next year, next 2. I don't even think the next 5. This is curious though. I am going to say that I think the Twitter Plan B people actually have active spies trying to figure out what the Everything app is all about. So let's take a look at that. A little bit of intrigue, a little bit of IT intrigue, technology intrigue. Let's see what we got. Do they have spies out there? Yep. Yeah, they've got people working for negative reasons. So Elon, if you're watching, watch out. And they're under the guise of helping. There's something about efficiency that they're involved in. Something about streamlining how the product performs with bandwidth or something. And again, I'm not an IT person. It's almost like making it move faster through the bandwidth, moving faster through the physical, the wires and the technology that's actually there. It's about moving faster, getting more information from A to B in a much faster way. So these people are actually looking at other things other than efficiency and speed. So they're really looking for clues as to what this Everything app is going to be. They're there for the groundwork for this Everything app. They're there to discover how to make things more efficiently so we can add more to it later. very, very curious. There's definitely a sandy-haired guy. There's a guy with a whitish kind of beard, and like he actually looks a little bit like George Lucas, like, but he's a much younger. He's got a squashier face than George Lucas, but he's somebody that Elon needs to look out for. That's somebody who's kind of playing both sides of the fence. He's got his wallet open, and he's got somebody in there. He's working for somebody on the. He's with Elon now, not with Twitter, but he's actually infiltrating the organization. So, and I get the sense that he's been there for a while. Um, he's been on Elon's team for a while, and he was approached. It's like that scene with the everlasting gobstopper. Somebody came up to him and asked him, "Hey, you want to make a little extra money?" So that's very, very curious. So there are people there that that guy in particular. There could be more, but there's a lot of yellow around this dude. I don't know um, if he smokes or if he's got whitish hair and he was really blonde. He may even be South African. I think I might be picking up something like South African accent. He's very bright. He's very good at what he does. So that I think he needs to keep an eye out for. So that brings us to, is this deal going through? Are we going to have Elon Musk style Twitter? Twitter brought to you by Elon Musk. I like that. Is it going to happen? One card. Are we going to see this? Is this going to happen? One card, one card. Still working on it. Ah, dang it. Come on, really? What needs to happen? Still working on it, for Pete's sake. Still wants disclosure. I think there's going to be more negotiating on this. I don't think we're going to see this 44 billion price tag go through. I think we're still going to uncover what's going on with the other profiles. I think he's going to say, hey, you know what? This is, it's a puppet show. We've got an electronic puppet show going on here. Let's get that cleaned up, and let's value it as it should be valued. Very, very neat. But he is going to take a very strong hand in the negotiations on this. We're going to see him really saying, this is not worth exactly what you're telling me it's going to be worth. So will we see that price come down? We're going to see that. Let's get one card, yes or no. And again, thanks everybody for being here. Just do me a favor and hit the like button, okay? Subscribe if you haven't. We're gonna have the upper hand on negotiating. I think this is gonna be pretty cool. So Elon Musk is going to buy Twitter, in my opinion. It's going to happen, and I'm gonna say it. I think it's going to happen at less than the 44 billion that has been discussed. I think the reason that we're going to see that number change is because they're going to discover that the amount of users are not exactly what has been advertised, and he's going to base the sale price on the actual users that we see. So this was a neat reading. I don't know if I missed anything. I may have to go back and do a little bit more, but I like reading for Elon Musk. It's kind of curious. I always had a hard time like getting into him, but I can't get into him personally. It's like he does have like a lot of blocks, but it feels like when you talk about his business endeavors, there's much more much more openness, glasnost, if you will. Not that he's Russian. There's a lot more openness there, and we can actually hear and see a lot more information. I think he doesn't have a whole lot to be afraid about or worried about. I think he's functioning on like a very straightforward path as far as the business thing goes. But very, very neat guy. So I will be sure to keep reading on this. So thank you once again for being here. This is my favorite part of the day. Really appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like, you book your own magical reading at the link in the description below. So I will see you all soon. Have a great day.